evening. I hope everybody's doing well. And this is going to be a little bit of a serious stream in a way. Not too serious. We never have too serious of a screen. Oh shit! You can't see my, you can't see what I'm sharing. Fuck, that's a problem. Oh well. That was going to be a picture of Tonto. Remember Tonto from Lone Ranger? I know probably the older guys remember the original one, not the Johnny Depp bullshit one. And I don't know if this was ever a true episode because I couldn't seem to find it, but there was, I guess, a antidote was that Tonto and Lone Ranger were on their horses next to a railroad, and they're waiting for this train to come. And Lone Ranger's like, the train's not coming. Tonto gets off his horse, puts his ear down on the rail. He says, the train's coming. Lone Ranger says, there's no train. I don't hear a train. I don't see a train. Tonto's like, Kimosabi, there's a train coming. And sure enough, that train was coming because that train appeared. So if you hear enough of the same kind of news, quote unquote news, from different sources, and it's enough of the same thing, then maybe there's some truth to it, right? And, we could say that, well, fuck it, I'm going to stand up and I'm not going to let them take my rights and all this stuff. And that's great. And I encourage you to do this. But sometimes that tide is going to be more than you can stop, right? And if you're on, say, the Titanic 2 and you're in an ice field, right? And you're hearing news that there's icebergs about, are you going to go back into the bar and say, fuck it? Or are you going to grab a life preserver and you're just going to kind of mosey on over by the lifeboat, right? That's all I'm telling you to maybe do at this point, right? It's early on, but I've heard enough right now to make me kind of like grab a life jacket and be like, I think I need to kind of scoot on over to the lifeboat area because I don't want to be caught up in the same bullshit that was happening in March of 2020. Do we all remember what happened in March of 2020? Mid-March. You guys remember it wasn't that long ago, right? How many of you, hopefully not you, got caught flat-footed and shit started fucking shutting down and fuck, I need to get to the store and fuck, stores are starting to empty and fuck, now they put a line out that you got to wait in line to get into the fucking store and so on and so forth. And I want to try to remind you that has a potential of happening and to mitigate those problems that can arise from those situations. Because, like I said, we can say, hey, I'm never going to comply, I'm never going to do this, but some things are bigger than you or I can prevent or stop from happening. And again, I'm not telling you don't resist, to say fuck you and your fucking mask and whatever the fuck else. But I want you to think about preserving yourself and your current way of life the best that you can in potential problems that can come down the pipe towards you. Okay, that's all this discussion for the most part. I know this first part's going to be heavy, right? Because look, fighters, when they're in a ring, right? A good fighter, he'll hit the one side, right, right, right. And then the guy who's getting hit with the rights puts all his defense on the right side. And then all of a sudden he gets hit with a left hook that he wasn't expecting and he goes down, right? What's happening lately? You're getting all these rights from the media. Are they saying a fucking thing really about potential lockdowns again or any of that? No, right? They just want you to keep going along and Not worry about anything, or just worry about what they want you to worry about, right? I want you to think about, like I said, what was going on in March of that year, 2020. And I want you to start looking at what you have around your house. Do you have enough right now to make it at least 3 to 4 months without getting involved with going to the store or having to show proof of whatever? Like, do you have enough right now in your space? They all kind of lulled people into kind of forgetting about the lockdowns and all that shit. You remember people were like waiting in food lines because they either got let go from their job, they didn't have enough money in the bank to get them through. The stores, the aisles were cleared out, right? What's the first thing that's going to happen in a fucking panic crazy? You were there. You guys were there. You remember this, right? What was what was some of the first things that just gone? All the paper products, all the chicken. Like, how remember chicken wasn't available for like months, right? So I want you to start thinking about this. Just, I'm not telling you to panic. I'm not telling you that this going. I hope 1,000% that this doesn't happen. I really do, because for fuck's sake, what do you hear when you hear lockdown? It's like, oh fuck this. You kidding me? Are we doing this again? We're not doing this again. Come on, give me a fucking break. It can happen, right? Cool heads prevail. Your cool head needs to prevail, right? So we're going to discuss this for a bit, and I'm going to bring in a dude that you all know. But if you don't know, this guy, he's a major prepper. He's been prepping way longer than me. I mean, I have like a freezer full of food. This dude has like 5 or 6 freezers full of food. He'll probably tell me he's got 10. But I want you to just think about bolstering what you have right now available to you that you can easily get and stockpile. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So, without further ado, let me add to the stream Crusader Nate. And just so you guys know, it seems like we're having a 10-second delay. So, he could probably hear me about now what I said 10 seconds ago. So, we're going to have a little bit of a delay and we'll try to work through that. But hey, Crusader Nate, glad that you are here.
Yeah, I am here. What's up, guys? Sorry about the little bit of a software and internet problem we're having. There's a bit of a delay here. No, I don't have 10 freezers full of stuff.
You
I
got 20,
have
right?
no. I have 3 refrigerators and I have 3 full-size stand-up freezers. And probably in dried goods, I have close to 5 years worth of like vacuum sealed dried goods that I can supplement on top of things like cases of MREs and other things, other miscellaneous things I have around the house, not including my fly fishing gear, my bow hunting gear, my fishing gear. Um, I have what I think 8 dozen arrows. I have my own fletching machines. I have I have vanes for fletching my own arrows. I have all my own stuff to maintain and to handle all of my stuff. I have thousands of yards worth of fishing line, lures. I have artificial lures and things like that. I have ice fishing gear because I live in the Midwest. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't have to leave my house for food. I would say easily for 3 to 3.5 years. Um, I have sources where I get fresh chickens. I get eggs from chicken farmers that I know. Obviously, I hunt. I have close associations with people that I get certified organic black Angus beef, which I buy about half a steer a year. I buy about 2 dozen chickens a year. I get turkeys. I fish, ducks, quail, pheasant. Um, Dude, I hunt all that stuff. So I have a wide variety of things just in the house at any given time. Um, you name it, I pretty much have it food wise. And I've been doing that for probably 25 years now. Um, when January of 20 hit and the slight panic ensued prior to March, um, I basically just kind of sat home and just watched it all happen. As twisted as that may be, that was just what I did. Like, I'm like, all right, I've been preparing for this for years. Like, I'm watching everybody like how to make their own homemade soup stocks, how to can things, how to preserve fruits and vegetables and pickling and things like that. And I'm like, I've been doing this for years. And I mean, I brew my own beer. I do, a lot of stuff like that myself. Smoke meats, things like that. So that's not a problem. I make my own homemade cheeses. So realistically, it didn't really impact my lifestyle much other than not having to go to an office to work. And my research job basically got axed because of that.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Yeah. So what I'd like to do is hopefully my share screen will work. We'll do a little, our notepad video. Pop has his white board.
Is
I have
whiteboard, yeah.
I have my white notepad on screen. Hopefully it'll work. I don't know. I was having a problem putting up Tonto. I don't know why. Let's see if a whiteboard.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do is, can it go? Can you see that? No, I don't see that. What the hell? Huh? There's a problem. Full screen layout.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So we'll have to
Something's going on.
improvise. So for hopefully people have a pen. Well, I'm going to write it down and then maybe I'll put it all in the description afterwards. How's that? We'll do that. I wish I could put it on the screen now,
Yeah.
but so basically I want to cover what a single guy can get now that will last him 3 to 4 months. And we'll think about like we'll try to be budget conscious because I know, in Biden's economy, things are
Right.
way more expensive than they were back in 2020.
Yeah.
And just something, stuff to sustain you, stuff maybe you think about, a lot of people, when stuff goes down, they immediately just go and get like, the buckets of food and
Yeah.
which those buckets of food are great if they're the last fucking thing you got. Those should be the absolute back of your closet because they last for like 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Leave those to the absolute, you got no more food left. Otherwise, you're going to want to have a nice rotating pantry or pantries. And I want to discuss that. I want to talk about, some hygiene stuff we want to throw in there. And, like things, just what you're going to use in 3 to 4 months that you should have on hand and think about having. So, Nate, tell
Well,
me what you think.
one of the yeah, I mean, there's FEMA, good, bad, or indifferent. They have a pretty good basic, reliable, checklist, so to speak. See if I can link it um, in the chat for everybody here. But it's there's a lot of things that not many people think about. I mean, yeah, having a couple of gallons of water on hand, a couple cases of bottled water, whatever it may be, whatever's easiest for you to get a hold of. Look at basically a gallon of water per day. That's if I mean, you can fill old bottles with water, cap them off, set them aside, and then once a month dump them out, refill them, and then you always have fresh water sitting on hand so nothing goes stale. You can wash out and reuse, any kind of store-bought bottle you're getting, any food container, you can do that. Just rotate it once, just dump it out and refill it once a month. Stick it in a closet. Don't touch it. Something as simple as that is really easy to do. That's not that challenging to do. The other thing is, look, everybody's diet consists of, specific things unique to them. Let's say you're a fan of making spaghetti. Okay, let's say you only buy 1 jar of spaghetti sauce, let's say per week. Instead of buying 1 jar, buy two. And you keep that consistent schedule of buying 2 jars every week. That way, what will happen is eventually you're going to have 6 or 8 jars on hand, and you're going to have 6 or 8 pounds of pasta on hand. So you're going to have that, and then every time you take one out, you replace it. Take one out, replace it. It's a simple rotation process. Put the
Well,
new stuff in the back.
let
Yeah,
me
go ahead.
let me interrupt you with this.
Yeah.
So going by what I'm hearing in the timelines, they're talking that this could potentially start happening mid-September.
Okay.
So in reality, we have potentially 3 weeks until this shit goes
Rough.
down.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to have a list that we can discuss here for the gang of stuff that people can go together. And Eric Zombro mentioned it. Sorry, I missed the comment. I was typing. He said about how the dollar store is a good place.
Yeah.
Dollar store, yeah. Dollar store is a good place. Well, now it's a $1.25 store since Brandon got in.
Right.
Um, things that they can put together in 3 weeks, basically, to mitigate issues of you know shortages. And it might be, that you want more than 4 months worth, but at least 4 months should be the start. I mean, at the very minimum, my opinion, very minimum is to have a month worth of stuff, of what you
Yeah.
use in a month on hand. My neighbor had like literally like one shelf of food when the pandemic started. He would go to the store like every week, and then the pandemic came, and then he was waiting in line for 2 hours to get into the stupid fucking store. And they remember they were limiting people how much chicken you can have.
Yep.
Remember, like all this shit was going down, and it seems like a lot to everybody listening. This is to your advantage now that people have forgot this shit, and that the stores are currently full. Right? I mean, it's for the most part you can go to the store and find everything you need right now. That might not be the case if this shit starts going down in a couple weeks. And it might start happening already. Like tomorrow on lunch, I'm gonna go, grab grab a cart full of stuff after we talk about this, because I've been thinking about it this week, because I've been hearing this shit. And I'm like, I need to kind of bolster up some stuff here that I
Yeah.
am pretty sure will be gone on day 3 if shit goes down. So this is what I want to focus on tonight is we have 3 week timeline to get 4 months worth of shit. Tell me what
Yeah.
your thoughts are on this.
Dude, you're right. I mean, if you don't have at least 1 to 4 months worth of stockpiles in your home as is now, you're already behind the 8 ball. I already have enough stuff comfortably to last me until I'd say spring of 25 comfortably. And that's not including any hunting or fishing or anything that I'm going to do between now and then. But yeah, every day go to the grocery store, look at what you're going to get for a week's worth of groceries, meal plan ahead for a week, and get 3 of each thing, because those are things you're going to use regularly. Stock up on those things. Get 3 or 4. Yeah, like I said, spaghetti is an example. Quick, it's easy, you can do it,
and it's
boom.
cheap. It's fucking cheap.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, like a box of spaghetti, I don't know about you guys, but that'll feed me for at least 2 days. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But with like a can of sauce and a box of spaghetti, I'm good for at least lunch, dinner, lunch the next day, and probably at least half dinner the next day. So
You're right.
it might not be the
other,
best for you. I mean, but
it's calories in. And that's what
calories
you need
in.
to look at. You know, go and get yourself, if you look at it comfortably, if you can get yourself six, let's say 6 jars of spaghetti sauce and 6 1-pound boxes of pasta, you can put that away and you can do spaghetti once a week for 6 weeks. Yeah, I don't know about you. I'm not a not all. I mean, I might do spaghetti once a month, once every 2 months, but it is what it is. Simple things like you can go to a regular grocery store and get pizza crust, the dried pizza crust. All you got to do is add water to it, or add an egg, or something like that. That's basically flour. Or if you know how to make your own, that's another way you can do it. Pull it up online. Get yourself probably 20 pounds of flour, 20 pounds of sugar, and get some yeast so you can make some of your own breads. Those
I
are
did buy
you can pizza.
I did buy a bread
You can,
maker like right as the pandemic started. And you know what I was doing?
yeah,
So my neighbor had chickens, so I was trading her eggs for bread. Worked out
yeah,
pretty good for the time, but now all her chickens got killed by a fox, so she doesn't have any more chickens,
yeah.
but it's neither here nor
Well,
there.
yeah. Well, do what you can to assist her to get some chickens again. That's another key thing. Network with your neighbors. I know we discussed this. What, almost 3 years? Was it almost 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
working with your neighbors. But yeah, when it comes to stocking up on supplies, everybody's specific foods, what they like is what they like. Get enough stuff where build yourself up for a week's worth of groceries, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. If you do that, um, what they're going to do is you're going to start to see your inventory start build up with what you have for space. Was it Eric Zombro? I think just posted something I just kicked over. I honestly don't see them coming door to door to see what people have in stockpiles of stuff. Um, I don't see them confiscating supplies because number
Well, I
one,
think that's well. Let me say this, Nate. I don't
yeah,
see them confiscating supplies if things are okay. Like things are okay enough, like they were the last time. They didn't confiscate, obviously, but if things get bad, I can see the local, your local like municipalities maybe doing, fucking door to door, but that it would have to be pretty bad for that to go down. I would think. I would think shit's going to be really in the streets if that's going on.
well, if they're doing that, it's going to be bands. It's going to be groups of people going door to door. It's not going to be a municipally organized DPW police fire. They're not going to be going and like walking through people's homes.
Hmm.
That's just not going to fly. That's when you're going to have a lot of bad things happen to people. So if we get to that point, most people are going to be fleeing cities at that point in time. So I
Well,
do
hopefully,
not. Yeah,
hopefully
I don't see it
everybody's
happening.
in our audience has fled any city they could eventually either live in or live close enough to. I hope you guys have
Right.
gotten away far enough from that. But I mean, look. So for me personally, I have three spots. I have my regular food pantry that I use every day. It's in the kitchen. I have
Hmm.
one that's in the basement. That's for kind of deeper storage, and then I do have a hidden one. That's the oh shit, just in case fucking shit really goes down. So I mean, you got to be like a squirrel. When you think of a squirrel, I know MGTOW.
Exactly.
I saw him in the chat. Squirrel, he doesn't just put all his nuts in one hole. No, he buries them
Right.
all the fuck all over the place, and then he digs up your yard trying to find them. But you got to have multiples if you can. I don't want to put anybody into financial problems. I know a lot, like you can get into the prepper over prep mindset of just you got to have so much stuff and then you end up never eating half of it and then half of it goes bad.
Exactly.
Do what you can within your budget. Don't put yourself in major debt. Okay. Just food isn't going to totally run out no matter where you are, right? As long as you got a fishing pole and you're near water, the food's not going to run out for you if it gets that bad, right? So go on, Nate. What else?
Yeah. Well, I mean, little things like peanut jars of peanut butter. Have some flour, have some sugar, have some yeast, make your own bread. Uh, Having little things like that and having those small incidentals can really put you a day or two or a week or two ahead of somebody else. Having simple things of you, I know they're getting expensive now, but I saw that was at a couple of local hardware stores. They're having little small, they're like 2 foot by 2 foot by like 3 foot tall small freezers. They're like $100 or $200. They're
Yeah,
not
I
overly
saw them.
pricey.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a grocery store here by me. Um, in the meat department, it's near the back by the double doors where they pull everything in and out. They have an area back there where it's all the marked down and reduced stuff. Um, I go back and I check there, dude. I found chicken leg quarters. There's 6 leg quarters in a package, and I was getting them for $6.
Nice. Oh,
So get them.
I always check the coupons. I sometimes
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm 100 years old. I check what the coupons are, if there's like buy one get one freeze, or
Yep.
buy one
Yep.
half price, all that. And then I always
Yeah.
check like the stuff that's they put on the special clearance. It's maybe expiring within 6 months. I'm always
Yeah.
checking that shit.
Oh yeah. I'm doing the exact same thing. Like I go and I walk through grocery stores, I walk through other stores, and I'll see deals on things. It's like buy one get one free, or this is 70% off because it expires by the end of the week, and it's meat or something like that. I take it home. I have a vacuum sealer. I put it in the vacuum sealer and throw it in one of my freezers, and
Yep.
I pull stuff out as needed. The grocery store by me just after the 4th of July had baby back ribs on sale. Buy a rack, get a rack free. So I bought 6 racks of ribs.
Hmm.
Do I need 6 racks of ribs? No. Do I have the ability to store 6 racks of ribs? Yes. You got to set yourself up for success. If you don't have a vacuum sealer, it's going to be about $150. It's going to be well worth it. You can always upgrade it and update it and things later.
They have
Those are the
cheaper
things.
ones at Walmart. I think they got ones that are relatively inexpensive. There's
Yeah.
usually an aisle, or like not a whole aisle, but like a section. At least the WalMarts I've been to, where they have food storage. So they have like all the cans, which is, by the way, canning season's coming up.
Yeah.
So your farmer market is going to have tons of
Oh,
vegetables that they're going to like practically be giving away that you can can and
yep.
preserve for quite some time. Something to think
Oh,
about.
yeah.
And it's going to be cheap, right? You can get
Hmm.
like a thing of cans, the jars, I mean, for like, what are they, like $15 for a whole tray of cans.
Yeah.
And the
It's
cans,
usually
good.
24 like quart jars, 24 jelly jars. And then when you get to the quart jars, I'd recommend getting the glass wide mouth jars. Then there's usually 12 in a box. And then if you're smart, you go for the half gallon jars with the wide mouth. And the wide mouth jars are all interchangeable on the lid sizes. On the larger ones, you can make soups, you can make stews, you can do things like that, and get yourself a pressure canner so you can actually pressure cook some of the stuff in the jar, and then it'll be shelf stable for 6 months to a year at a time.
Hmm.
So if you make larger meals, go online, look at the recipes on how to do your own spaghetti sauce, things like that. Make some lasagna for Pop if he ever stops by. Um, do things like that you can put on a shelf that'll get you 6 months out. And then over the next 6 months, you eat that and then you replenish it. 6 months, replenish it. And you can start building a collection of things like that that'll stretch you out 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. The other thing is make sure you have a decent stew pot that you can make soups and stews in.
Hmm.
Um,
So
yeah, Post, I know it's savage.
I have
Uh,
a big pot. I have two big pots. One that I could use for making soup and for canning. So, because with
yeah,
the canning, you want to boil the
yep,
stuff, and then that'll. You guys got to look it up, but you can. That's how you seal the jars, basically, is to boil them down.
yeah. And learning, I mean, one of the best things you can do is if you have any older neighbors or older family members that are 70 plus, start picking their brains,
Hmm.
because most of them grew up without indoor plumbing, without refrigeration, and they grew up canning and pickling and things like that. Learn how they used to do those things. Um,
And thankfully,
but
there's
yeah,
the you can learn that
it,
shit too pretty easily.
yeah, yeah. Well, if you can learn from somebody that can walk you through it, it's a lot easier and helps out. Because one of these days the internet may not be there.
Yeah.
Um,
And Pop always talks about there's a PDF dump. You
yeah.
remember the name of that?
Let me see if I can find that. I know I have it saved somewhere. My computer here.
So basically, there's a place that you can go to get PDF
Yep.
book
PDF
version.
drive.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Right.
PDF drive?
Yeah, it's called PDF drive. I got the link right here. I'm going to drop it in the chat.
Perfect.
Yep.
So yeah, that you can find lots of books. And I suggest, you know, downloading books, movies. That's why I've been doing the movies on MGTOW TV. So you could take
Yeah.
them, download them, and plus, they're not fucked with. At least, you have the version of the movie that's not fucked with. Because who knows what's going to happen in the future? I mean, they're going through stuff. They're rewriting books. They're rewriting movies. That's just that's a conversation for another day. I'm getting a little off
Right.
topic, but
Yeah.
I,
But yeah,
there's lots of good
look at securing
resources
your
out
food.
there. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look at securing your food. Food. Number one, water. Get yourself a good water filter, because even if you have to go to a lake or stream or a pond or whatever it may be with a couple of water bottles and hand pump up, some fresh water from somewhere, get yourself a hand pump. A little something that's not going to require batteries, because you don't want to have the batteries fail on you. So what? You got to spend a couple extra calories to get some fresh water. That's never
You,
going to kill you.
you can get it cheap because I know I got one so I have an RV, and you can get a hand pump. Like I think it's like
Mm-hmm.
$10. It's so cheap that, and you can get a filter that you can
Yeah.
use for RV situations that filters out
Yeah.
all the garbage out of a lake. Hopefully, you never have to deal with that shit. But it's always good to be prepared. That's what we're all talking about here: is being prepared for
Right.
potentials.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And these are all simple things, because why? Stuff happens, emergencies happen, and these are things that everybody should just have on hand regardless. I mean, how many people out there that live in a climate, keep a couple of cases of water on hand? How many people keep candles on hand in case of a power outage because of a storm? How many people keep lanterns, battery operated lanterns or flashlights because of bad weather? Um, why don't people keep those things on hand anymore? I grew up in a generation where that was normal.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah,
So
Sean's right.
I keep
The
I have
hand tools.
so the dollar store is good for candles. They got the Jesus and
Yep.
Mary candles. buck,
Yeah.
not a dollar, it's a buck 25 now. Uh,
Yeah.
you can do the Crisco candle. So if you
Yep.
don't know what the Crisco candle is, you can look it up. Crisco is basically you buy a big old jar of Crisco for like $10. Well, now it's probably $15 with by inflation, and you get a dollar store candle and stick it in there, and that sucker will last for like 50 days. All right.
You'll get well over a month out of that.
Yeah. And you could do you can also make a clay pot furnace for heating a room.
You got to
um
be careful with those.
you got to be careful with them, but if shit's going really down and they cut off heat and fucking you know uh electricity, it's good to have these skills and knowledge to know how to do these things. That's why I'm just mentioning. I know I'm getting way off track. Because I'm thinking
Yeah.
my mind's going a million miles a minute of all the things you got to do before possibly something can be coming. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there are little things, just kind of touching on a lot of the basics. Having candles, flashlight, lantern, first aid kit, food, battery, water filter. Having dust masks are a way of shielding your face when you have to breathe. I mean, whatever you got to go out in, if you, I mean, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever it may be. You may need something to be able to slightly filter the air. Having some plastic sheeting and stuff like that. If you have a window bust or something like that, that you can replace things, go get a roll of plastic. You can have it on hand. It's not going to, what's it going to do? Take up some space for you? It costs you a couple of bucks. Um, and go, hit one of your local grocery stores, dollar store, whatever it may be, and get some, get like a couple boxes of baby wipes. You'd be surprised how refreshing something like that can be in a pinch when you don't have enough fresh water to take a shower or do something like that. And going back on that, having that large soup pot, you can boil water in it, and you can actually give yourself like a hot bath, little towel bath with a baby wipe and some hot water. That's how they used to do it 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Have things like that. Go to your hardware store, get some contractor bags. You'd be surprised what you can use large garbage bags for like that. Obviously, manual can openers. Have little things, ways of opening different sources of food and things like that on hand. Go look at, getting a hold of local maps. Go find, make sure you have things bookmarked on a map of where they are. Because everyone's like, oh, I just trust my GPS. Oh, I just use my phone. Yeah, well, your phone's not always going to work. They have,
Oh
with
my
as cheap
God.
as they're getting
Can you
solar
imagine
chargers for phones.
real quick? Can you imagine
Yeah.
the millennial generation or the Z's without if their phone turns off? I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that opens an entire other can of worms. I know you and I talked about it a couple of years ago, where you said you had a just little blister pack of like handheld radios that talk with your neighbor. I mean, and this opens up a completely different stream. I mean, there's a GMRS radio, which is General Mobile Radio Service, which there are repeaters all over the country, and a GMRS license is $35. It's good for 10 years, and you can sync into nationally linked repeaters that all run on emergency power. So you could literally be in Montana, hit a repeater in your area, and talk to somebody in Texas. Yeah, other people are going to hear the conversation, but you know what? Would you rather have that or not be able to communicate with people? Or if you're really serious about it, it's going to take some time and studying. Get your ham radio license. I have mine. Before we hopped into this, I was listening to HF frequencies listening to guys talk. There was a guy that was in Washington. And he was talking to a guy in Texas. And I can talk on it. But it's a learning curve. These are things that are going to take some time to learn, and these are things that are going to invest in yourself. Learn those skills. Big Lou, yeah. Run solar systems. Have a way of regenerating power. They make small, backpackable, portable little windmills that'll generate 1 to 200 watts of power. Something like that. Having solar panels.
You can get. I know Harbor Freight has relatively cheap. I think they're 100 watt setup for pretty cheap, and then you could just like double them, and then you gotta get you can't just like plug them into the phone. You have to have there's a couple of other pieces you need to get with it. So, but you could do
power inverters.
You can look into solar for relatively cheap to like power your phone if you need your phone and power small appliances. You get like one of those battery backup things, and then have the solar power, keep the solar power, keeping that thing powered up. I mean, there's ways to get power when you don't have power.
Oh yeah, there are. I mean, right around me now, I'm sitting in my office. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different batteries of different sizes. All together, I have almost 3.7 kilowatt hours of electricity sitting in batteries around me right now. That all can be recharged off of portable windmills, portable solar panels.
Where'd it go? Big Lou. Somebody was asking if they're good quality. Probably not the best. I mean, it's all Chinese, right? All this shit's fucking Chinese.
Yeah. Well, something's better than nothing, and you can you can always upgrade it, you can always update it. And what you do is you get something small, pick up a Harbor Freight, little um, solar panel system, get yourself like a lithium ion battery. They're good. They're not the greatest, but they're good. They'll last you 10 years or so. And what you do is, set a benchmark, say, okay, I'm going to get a lithium ion battery and a 50-watt solar panel. That's going to cost me, let's say, $300, $400. But in 5 years, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save up every week, and I'm going to be able to put away some more money so I can buy a bigger battery and a bigger solar panel. And then when it comes time to get the bigger one, you purchase the bigger one, you sell the smaller one to a friend or a family member, and pass it down that way. And then you keep upgrading. And what you're doing, not only are you improving what you have for your stockpile, but you are also getting a little bit of a return on the expense of buying the original units. What's going to happen is you're going to have that happening, and you're going to offset the cost a little bit on that. So it's going to help you a little bit. It'll be a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to do. Eric, I don't know. I know there are a lot of people. There's a lot of people screaming about confiscations of certain property. With
You're talking in
roughly
Hawaii.
with roughly 335 million people, you would need to take roughly 50 to 60% of that population that would knowingly and willingly be willing to put their neck on the line and to violate the Constitution to be able to take that from other people. When the rubber has to hit the road, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be very nervous and very apprehensive about that, because if that collapses, they understand that they end up with the short end of the stick, so to speak. And that's not good. Go ahead.
My opinion on this is it all, number one, depends on your state, right?
Yep.
Because there's plenty of states that, say New York City, for example, you can't have a gun, but in the greater outside of New York City, you can, right? So they've put these laws into place to prevent people, but then, the criminals have it anyway, right?
Right.
My opinion on guns and any of this prepping stuff is the same way I handle diving. So I'm a diver. You go into a shipwreck, or I do cave diving too. You never go in with one tank of air. You never go in with one flashlight. You never go in with one knife. You never go in with one reel. It's always redundancy, right? You always have the backup ready. And sometimes you have backups to the backups.
2 is 1, 1 is none.
Yeah. So for me, let's just say there is a couple that ain't nobody going to find them but me. Right. And they're there just for that point. If anything ever fucking really goes down, right. That I'm not caught without some kind of protection. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should operate in the same way. That's what I have to say about that.
Exactly.
Now bullets, that's a whole other thing. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on what you're doing, some people, are partial to stuff like that. Others are partial to string-driven projectiles, namely arrows, bolts, things like that.
You can get a crossbow for relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you can.
Canadian guys who don't have any guns up there. But I'm sure you guys know that.
I mean, I'm a bow hunter. I've sat in trees and shot deer and other animals less than 10 yards away that didn't even know I was there. And do you know how many people heard me 100 yards away? Nobody. I mean, learning to be able to do things like that, learning those skills, learning how to handle that stuff, those are going to be the skills that are going to be learned over years, over generations. Those aren't things you're going to be able to do in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
having start with your small preps, your small things. Look at what you're going to need. You know, have some foresight. Look into next week. If you're going to the grocery store tomorrow, say, okay, what am I going to need to make it through this, not only this weekend, but the following weekend. Okay, get everything, and then beginning of next week, say, okay, what am I going to need to make it through? I'm going to the grocery store September 1st. What am I going to need to make it to September 30th?
Hmm.
Make a list, look at your coupons, look at your sales, look what's available, get everything that you can. That's I don't want you to break the bank. I don't want you to put yourself in a bind. Get what you can. Um, what you need to do is you need to do that. Make it from September 1st to October 1st. From October 1st, and then what you do is the next time you go through, you know, January 1st. Extend yourself 2 or 3 months. Make sure you have 3 months worth of stuff out there. Look at things in your area. If you have a place where you can get eggs, do you have a place where you can get milk, cheeses? Do you have a way of accessing that?
Well,
Like you
let's.
said, you were trading bread for eggs, dude.
Yeah. Well, that was month 3 or so of the pandemic. So let's kind of bring it back into. Let's put together just a quick list for you guys to
Yeah.
write down and think about stuff to get within these next 3 weeks. And look, think of it as, a lot of you northern guys, you know this shit, right? That winter comes and you'll be stuck inside in a snowstorm for potentially a week or whatever while they plow out the roads. Right? You're not any stranger to having to stock up, right? So now instead of doing it in October, November, bring it up a couple months. The same stuff that you
Hmm.
do prepping for the winter,
Exactly.
right? And then bolster it a little higher than you normally do. It's just my opinion. Again, I hope I'm wrong on this. I really do. I really hope that this is just bullshit in the wind. That this is people
Well,
making rumors, but
yeah.
I'm hearing it enough, and it's sounding believable enough to me that they could pull this shit again. And
It,
God, I
it
really
wouldn't surprise me.
nothing
But
surprises me. Look, we
no.
all know why they do it, right? They create the chaos so that they could be the saviors of the chaos. That's why they do this shit, and to
Yeah.
profit off it, right? They put programs in place that aren't going to help you or me, right? They always either they help themselves and they help people who are just who don't know how to fucking take care of themselves in life, right?
Yeah.
So we need to we need to remember that ain't nobody fucking coming to save us. Ain't
Right.
nobody fucking coming to save us ever. Ever. It's the way you gotta operate every day in this fucking world that we're living in. So that's what we're talking about here. Let's put this list. Let's get a list going.
All right. I mean, food's going to be subjective to the individual.
Of course.
Um,
But the basics.
so
What
yeah.
would be what would you get, Nate? Because you're a milk fed, cheese eating Wisconsin guy making your own cheese up
Well,
there. What would you
yeah.
get?
Well, I make my own. Dude, I source all my milk from a farmer I know. I make my own cheeses.
Okay, but
Uh,
let's just say you're just a normal guy, you never prepped before, but you have a little bit of knowledge. Let's and you got
well, and
some
that's
money in your pocket. Where would you
yeah.
go? What would be your shopping list? Let's get a shopping list.
I mean, simple things. Taking into consideration like food allergies and stuff like that. I mean, if you can get some like canned stewed tomatoes, rotel tomatoes, rice, some dried beans, northern beans, pinto beans, black beans, whatever you can do. Um, Believe it or not, spices. Go and walk through like Walmart or your local grocery store and see what herbs and spices that they have dried that are just sitting in a random end of an aisle. Look at the stuff that you use regularly. Load up on that. Um, if you can find things like black peppercorns, you'd be surprised what you can do with those for making soup. If you can get a big bag of them pretty cheap, I know I find them locally for like $6, and I get like a 2 pound bag of peppercorns. Um, Looking at different small things like that, you can probably spend an extra $50 a week on little stuff. Um, I don't really go for like the canned soups or things like that. You can make almost all of that stuff yourself,
Although they
a
do
lot
have
cheaper.
every it's either every year or every other year, there are some supermarkets who will do that the can sale,
Yeah.
especially so the two times to look for is before Easter and before Thanksgiving. That's when they have
Yep.
all the vegetables. They're practically giving that shit away.
Yeah.
So we're not
And
quite to that Thanksgiving time, but the canned vegetables are usually pretty cheap.
yeah.
And that's a good way to kind of back up a lot of your storage is to get just skids of fucking vegetables,
Yeah.
corn, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Load up on the stuff that you like that you eat. Baked beans, corn. I mean, there's not much nutritional value in corn. I mean, if you like asparagus, get some canned asparagus as an emergency just in case. Make sure you have at least 2 can openers because I have seen can openers fail. Um, Look at some of the smaller things. If you're going to go out, I mean, I understand steak is expensive, but if you're going to buy a steak, get it with the bone in it. Every time you make a steak, cut the steak off the bone, throw the bone in a Ziploc bag, throw it in your freezer. Um, when you get a full Ziploc bag, throw it in a kettle of cold water, bring it to a boil, let it cook down. Everything will fall off. You can sift it all out. You just made beef broth right there. Um, those are the little things that you have to start thinking that way. It's just a minor alteration in the way you think. If you're going to go buy peanut butter, buy the twin pack. Get 2 jars instead of one. When you kill the first jar, grab another twin pack. Then you'll have 3 of them. You open one, you have 2 more. When you open the second of the 3, then go and get more. When you start seeing these things on sale, when you see the Thanksgiving vegetable sale on canned stuff, cream of chicken soup, you see other things like that, grab, they'll have the 4 packs on sale. You'll notice every now and then they'll have like the cases of like fire roasted tomatoes, Rotel tomatoes, things like that. You'll notice they'll have, um, I just saw it a couple of weeks ago, the Kraft mac and cheese. They had, what was it, the 5 box packages? I think it was like 388 or 488. It wasn't even $5. Pick that up. It's always something you can use to extend a meal. Look at the simple things that you can grab, whether it be at a dollar store or a Walmart. Look at what you can gain, what you can gather, and what you can collect from your local grocery stores that you yourself will eat. Um, Look at, like Sean St. George, it says animal bones, and for like, let's see, where is that? Just above Soldier Girl, animal bone cuts, fat, things like that. You can use those for making soup stocks and things like that for cooking to get extra flavors. Great way to do it. That's what I do. Um, Start looking at if you're able to buy meat, if you can find a place where you can get a quarter of a steer, where you can get a quarter of beef, half, depending on how many people you got in your home. Dude, if you get a quarter, that can probably feed you for a year. Um, put it this way, I'm buying half a cow and I'm paying $2.86 a pound for beef.
That's pretty damn good. That's really good. I saw something. I was going to make a post. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow, where it was like filet mignon was like 40
Yeah,
something a pound. I don't know where it was, but it's just this picture of a butcher shop. I was like, holy
yeah,
fuck, 40 something a pound. My God.
yeah. I have a local butcher shop that they make their own like Italian sausages and brats and things like that. I go in a couple times a year and I buy 10 pounds of this, that, and the other thing. Vacuum seal it, throw it in my freezer. Yeah, those are. It's just a change of mindset of Oh, I just needed to get through this week. Oh, I just needed to get through next week. No. Change your mindset. Look at what you're going to challenge yourself to be prepared for a month. You want to challenge yourself that you do not have to hit a grocery store for 30 days.
Hmm.
Um,
And
then,
so, good.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say. So I remember Eric was mentioning the dollar store.
Hmm.
I mean, besides food, they have good deals on soap and shampoos and
Right.
that sort of thing.
Personal care
So
items.
personal care items. Don't forget about the personal care item. I mean, maybe if you're just at home by yourself, you don't give a fuck what you smell like. But remember, if you're not showering or whatnot, bacteria is growing on you. You get infections and these sorts of things. So try to stay clean.
Yeah.
And those would be some of the. If you remember when the first thing rolled around, like
And round one
everybody,
came through.
yeah, everybody cleared out all the like the hand sanitizers and the hand
Hmm.
soaps and toilet paper. Remember that? And the
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing about it.
paper. Not only did they clear out all the paper products, right? But then the paper, if you remember, the paper companies couldn't produce the stuff fast
Right.
enough. There was
Right.
like a huge paper, and it was like the napkins, the toilet paper, the paper towels. That was all gone for
Right.
like 2 months.
Yeah. Well,
So
and those are the things that people think about. I mean, and that's why I said it comes to changing your mindset on things. Yeah, how many people do you know have 6 cases of paper towel in their basement? I do. How many people have 6 cases like of toilet paper in their basement? I do. Who has 6 cases of paper plates in their basement? I do. Who has 10 gallons of hand sanitizer in their basement?
mm,
I do. I think differently. I trained myself to think differently. The things that I use regularly, I make sure that I have on hand.
right. And it's not like you're see that's another thing what people fuck up with prepping that I'm aware of is that they get shit that it's just because it's a good deal or maybe I'll use this one day and it's something they don't normally get and then they
Yeah,
try like one of them and it's like ew I'll never eat this and now you got stuff you won't eat and eventually you got to throw it out and it's just wasted money. So
exactly. I
get
mean,
stuff that you definitely will use, definitely will eat.
yeah. Well, it's like, I'm not going to tell someone to go buy 2 jars of peanut butter if they have a peanut allergy. I mean, that's just stupid. Um,
Although you can
you
use that stuff for,
can
bartering.
trade it. Yeah.
But, hopefully hopefully we don't get to that point of bartering, but you
Well, the
never
other
know.
thing, yeah. Well, the other thing is having a base of knowledge in something. Always have a backup plan. Um, if you're, like we talked with Thumper, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. I
Something
mean,
like that.
being able to rebuild and repair engines and things like that, make his own fuel and things, like that. If he's able to do that, he can trade fuel. He can trade repairing things. Yeah, I know how to build. I was a builder. I was a builder and plumber to put myself through college. Dude, I can run water anywhere. I can run drains anywhere I choose. Having those backup skills are something else helpful to have. Um, but yeah, those are. I mean, like Charles Darwin, box of oats. If you eat oats, sure, get it. If you don't bother.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
the thing about those prepper boxes, like I mentioned in the beginning,
oh
those are shit you just want in the very back of your storage. You don't want to like live
yeah,
off. That's not a plan to like, oh, I
no,
got two buckets of food. I'm good. Mm, no, and they over number one, they over say how many servings you're getting out of those. I mean, the serving sizes
right,
are for if you're like a child, you know,
right.
an
Yeah, 4
Ethiopian
ounces of
child.
this, 2 ounces of that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So bear that in mind. Also, like a lot of the food is just it's not that great. A lot of it
no,
is oats and goo that
yeah,
eventually you put it together and it's like this gooey paste. So keep that in
yeah.
mind with those
Well,
prepper boxes. Go on.
yeah. The one thing I will say is, some people are like, oh, I got I got 100 pounds of rice and 100 pounds of beans. How often do you have beans? Oh, never, but I got it. Well, that doesn't really help you.
Yeah.
Um, look, that's why I said look at what you consume in a week. Double that inventory. So see if you can go 2 weeks without grocery shopping. See if you can make it a month, then make it 2 months, make it 3 months, make it 4 months, make it 6 months. Build the collection of things that you use yourself. Buying those boxes of things, I'm pretty much, I'm not a big fan of that. The one thing that I will say that I do have, I'll have to see if I can find the link for them. I think some Grizzly something as a company. They're 3,600 calorie emergency food bars.
Oh yeah, I've seen those, but they're just like these compacted. They don't even like, from what
Yep.
I understand, they don't taste good. They're just like if you literally are like on a mountainside somewhere and you're fucked, you know, that kind of
Well,
deal.
well, I've been in those situations, and that party does suck. However, when you're in those situations, those things are very handy to have.
Oh yeah, I'm not
Um,
saying don't get it for sure. Get
oh,
have some of those
have,
bars in your stuff, but it's
yeah,
not the plan.
have a couple of them. I mean, they're vacuum sealed. I think the shelf life on them is about 20 years. The ones I have, but and they're not that expensive. Um, and the biggest thing is don't if you're gonna get those, if you can get like a 10 pack of them for let's say $100 or whatever they're gonna charge you for, they have a 4 pack, 3 pack, whatever they're selling. You have them on sale. Pick them up, open one up, try it. If you can tolerate it, if it's okay, if I don't want you to like pulling those things out and like snacking on them and turn into fat bastard in a week, because you will.
Yeah,
Um,
you gotta be careful.
but yeah, a little 2x2 block off of one of those is 900 calories.
Mm. Same with
The average,
peanut butter. Careful on the peanut butter, by the way. You can get
yeah,
real fat real quick.
yeah. The easiest way to describe like those bars, it's kind of like a very dense, very firm, moist but crumbly lemon flavored pound cake is what they taste like. I've had them before. I've had the pound cakes, and I've had those bars before
Almost sounded
on
like you were
multiple occasions.
describing a stripper there.
Yeah.
Moist, squishy, and lemon
Well, no, it's not really. It's not actually squishy. It's actually
or
fairly dense and
dense.
kind of.
Well,
It's crumbly, um, but it's not as dry as you would think. That's one thing that I recommend is everybody get one, try it. Get a little pack of them, try it. If you don't like it, trade it to somebody you know. Say, hey, you know what? I picked. Hey, I won these in a raffle. Tried one. I think they're horrible. Do you want them? Trade them to somebody else. Or even sit on them and as something to barter down the line. Or if you really need them, you have them.
yeah.
Give
I
yourself options.
I don't trade off anything unless I really would have to. I mean, even if I don't particularly like it, I put it in the deep,
Yeah.
deep storage, and I know that, well, shit, at least I got those if things really go bad.
Yeah. I mean, I've been upgrading and changing my collection of stuff that I have, and I've been passing things down to other people, um, sending things out. I mean, I'm a single dude. Do I need 6 ponchos? No. Um, I'm a single guy. Do I need, you know, what a 12 different pocket size, collapsible, foldable titanium uh, gas stoves? No. Are they great to trade? Yeah. Am I going to need what, 3 or 4 to trade? Possibly. Those are, I mean, once you get to the point when you've been doing this X number of years, like I have, you can start doing that. You can always look, uh, those are the things that you can do down the road. But as you update, as you change things, as you learn what you like, as new equipment comes out, um, everybody's partial to certain brands. But keep that in mind, and you can always sell it off for 10 or 20 bucks or whatever it may be on Craigslist. If anything, let's say you pick up a little bundle of this or that, this, that, and the other thing when it comes to food, burn through it. And that's why I said pick up food and things that you use, that you like, that you will eat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
like I said,
here's another
yeah,
thing that we kind of skipped right over. Um, any kind of medication. If you guys
yeah,
take medication, try to tell your doctor to give you a few extra months worth, just for, oh, I'm going away potentially, and I need, just I want to have another month or two, because if you remember, during the pandemic, people were having a lot of problem trying to get some medications that they normally take, because as we found out, the shit's being all made in China.
right,
So, if shit gets cut off again, and then
yeah,
you're fucked with your. I just want you guys to remember that what it was like at that time period, those 3 or 4 months, right when the fucking first pandemic hit, what you came up against as far as shortages in your own life, and what you were dealing with in your own life as far as trying to get supplies just to live a normal life. Just,
yeah,
that's what I'm trying
exactly,
to really drive home here, is to not be short like you were, if you were, during those 3 or 4 months. So, like,
yeah,
vitamins. Let me just go down this hole. So, medications you might need that you normally take,
mhm,
stock up. Vitamins, aspirins, and painkillers, Motrins, whatever. Um,
yep,
there is also a particular paste uh,
yeah,
that is known to get
be
rid of
helpful.
certain situations that could be found at places like Tractor Supply.
Hmm.
They even make it in apple flavored. It's quite tasty.
Yeah,
I've had it.
yeah,
And Pop knows, if you need directions on how to use it, Pop has the dealie on how to use it.
yeah.
Um, let's see what else. What else is good to get?
Well, an easy way. Most of the time, when most people go to a doctor, it's the prescriptions for a 30-day supply. If anything, now is the perfect time to talk to your doctor and say, "Hey, doc, you know what? We're in Minnesota, North Dakota, Michigan. Um, you know what? September's coming. I'm gonna have to refill my prescriptions. Is there a way that I can get my prescription changed to get a 90-day supply or greater, just in case snowstorm, tornado, hurricane, whatever it may be?"
Whatever the excuse you want to use.
9 times out of 10, if you tell your doctor you want to make sure you have enough on hand, what they'll do is they'll change the script to get you a 90-day supply, and then they'll earmark it to be renewed at about 75 or 80 days. So you can always have a 1 to 2 week surplus of medication on hand in addition to that standard 90-day supply. You start doing that, you're going to continually bank up months worth of medications.
Mhm.
Um, and that's how you do that.
Yeah,
And that's a
because
very reasonable way of doing that without raising any alarms with anybody.
yeah, for sure. Um, and Sean had said about vitamin C, vitamin D.
Yep.
Your
Yep.
vitamin supplements have been, some of them like D has been shown to, um, be pretty good for you, as fighting the supposed whatever
Yeah.
variations of this stupid bullshit that they keep
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, vitamin C, though,
reintroducing.
it's very good for your bone structure and everything else as
Yeah.
well. So, I mean, there are a lot of benefits to a very well-rounded diet.
Yeah.
But yeah, having the simplest way to do it is make it a game for yourself, make it a challenge. Look at the stuff you consume in a week, build out a collection, do meal planning, meal prepping for 2 weeks, do it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Start looking at, there's certain comfort foods you always make every fall, certain things you make for yourself every spring. Start looking at things that way, and then start building and looking and saying, okay, I'm going to need this in April. I'm going to need this in February, and source it long before anybody else is even thinking about it.
Yeah,
And
I love it.
that's the mindset you need to have when you're doing this.
Right. Because right now, like I started the stream off, nobody's really thinking about this stuff right now. They're thinking about what am I going to do for Labor Day? What am I going to do? The kids' school is coming up. They're
Right.
on thinking about all these other things. And they're not thinking about, oh shit, there might be another stupid mother effing lockdown coming that's going to fuck my life up and make me wait 2 fucking hours just to get in a store that they'll give me a fucking piece of chicken and tell me to go home and wear my stupid fucking mask and all that other bullshit. And
Well,
don't think it won't happen because it very well might. So that's what I'm trying to get through to everybody.
yeah,
Just
and
don't think they're
you're
not
right.
capable. Don't think they're not capable of fucking with your life because they show. And you know what kills me is these fucking people, these goddamn sheep that just go along. Oh, okay, okay. All the local fucking governments, they all just fucking get right in the lock fucking step and follow along. Okay, let's do the message. This is what we need to do. 6 feet apart. Wear the fucking mask. Not questioning it. It's been shown fucking world over that it doesn't do bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. Sorry, I'm getting on a fucking big rant here. It's all fucking bullshit, but they still do it anyway because it's
Let
like
the hate
fucking
flow through
lemons.
you.
Fuck.
Exactly. Exactly. And doing that, being caught in that situation where you have to play by their rules to get what you need is a bad situation to be in. Now, what I'm saying is change your mindset for actually acquiring the supplies you need to the point where you are getting them long before anybody's thinking about it.
Mhm.
Um, and that's the way you need to start looking at things. If you are able to source that stuff, I mean, how many people now are looking at getting a turkey for Thanksgiving?
Nobody. Nobody's thinking about that.
I am. I already got mine.
But usually nobody's thinking. Nobody's thinking that far. Nobody plans that far. No, well, the normal
Very
like
few, very
normie
few people.
doesn't think about this shit.
Very
So
few people think that far ahead. And that's why I said change your mindset. Look at things, build yourself up of what am I going to need for my day to day from here until Thanksgiving.
mhm.
Incidentals, little things, milk, eggs, things like that, fine. Um, Dude, I got 24 pounds of butter in my freezer. Um,
Yes, you might have to stock up on lube for your flesh.
but
Don't forget your lube for your flashlight. And
that's
if
why I
it's a
said
powered one,
get the supplies that you need. I mean, if you're a monk, you don't have to worry about those things. Um, but yeah, I mean, these are everyday skills, and these are everyday things that are common for me to do that I take for granted. I don't think about this stuff. This is stuff I just regularly do. Anytime I walk through, if I go by a dollar store, oh, I'm going to go in there and see what they have. Walk through. If I see something that's handy or helpful, I get it. Go to a hardware store. They have something on clearance. I grab it. Um, and looking at changing your mindset is the biggest thing you can do. And look at the things and always keep, be like the squirrel.
yeah.
Always be looking to stash something for further down the road.
Well, I always
Set
think of the ant and the grasshopper, the
e-
Aesop's fable.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
and you don't want to be the grasshopper knocking on the door of the ant in the middle of the winter when the storm's raging.
Nope. No.
Uh, Sean St. George just had me remember. Okay, so here's the deal. If things go down and we back into lockdown, I'm gonna take out this pot that's been sitting in. I have. So if anybody's listened to me long enough, I told the story of um, my niece who was living with me for a little bit. Wait, this was before the pandemic, before I was doing this shit on YouTube and all this. She's a good kid, and she had some pot, and she got herself off pot, which was great, and she cleaned herself up, and so when she left me to start her life back again in a good, clean way, she left the pot with me, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't smoke it, right? I'm not, I did in high school a little bit, but I'm just not a person who does drugs or I don't really drink a lot either. But so I'm like, maybe this will be cool someday. Maybe I'll try it at some point. So during the pandemic, I was like, God, I'm so bored. It was like one day I was just bored. There was nothing to do. I'm like, I got that pot that I put away in the Ziploc bag, and I had sealed it with my sealer, my food sealer, so it stayed really
Mm-hmm.
fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pulled it out, and I smoked barely any of it. And oh my God, it sent me to the fucking moon. I was like tripping balls.
I
So,
remember you telling me about that.
yeah. So I was like, holy crap. I didn't realize this is what pot's like these days. I mean, it really,
Yeah.
really fucking stoned me out. So if the pandemic happens, I will have a stream while I will smoke pot, and you will hear me all fucking looped out of my fucking mind because it could be the funniest fucking stream ever. And now I lost a bunch of people have jumped off
Yeah.
since I told my story. Again, I don't really smoke pot that much. I don't judge people that do. Uh, if that's
I
your
haven't
thing,
touched it in
cool.
20 years.
But it would be for a funny fucking stream. And goddamn, I hope it doesn't happen. Oh wow, I've lost 5 people. Are like, fuck you, Billy. We're out of here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't talk about the pot
But
anymore.
I mean, look at, and that's the biggest thing is look at what you need. Okay, you got a thunderstorm, hurricane, tornado, whatever's coming. What are the things you go out and get? Make sure you have it. Buy now for next season. Think ahead. Change your mindset. That's what you need to do. Get the things that you need to make it through whatever weather storm or situation or scenario or things that you need to deal with in your area.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just reading some of the comments. Sorry.
Yeah, well, go ahead. Give me a second. I'm going to be right back.
Yeah. So, all right. I think we covered quite a bit. I think I'm going to open it up. Some of you guys want to jump in. I'll put the link in because now we're getting kind of a bit redundant. And just do me a favor. Don't hit me with a swinging, thing like what happened to Rhino Stream. But you guys are all cool, unless there's one of you weirdos hanging out. Just don't do that to me. Come on. Well, enough people to see this stream and to kind of put it in their mind that maybe I need to look at my closets and my refrigerator and my freezers and fuel. Somebody had mentioned fuel. Yes, make sure you're stocked up on fuel. That's one thing I'm low on right now. Because so for me, riding the motorcycles, it just you end up. I got the fuel cans. I'm low on fuel. Let me just dump it in from the can, and then the next thing you know, I'm nearly out of gas in all my cans. So now I gotta go to the gas station, fill up all my cans of gas, which I have several of. So yes, don't forget the gas, and make sure you put in the fuel stabilizer, which is cheap enough. Just put. I always dump it in first and then fill it up so it gets a nice good mix. All right. So, oh wow, we got a lot of people have jumped in. Soldier Girl,
Hey,
Sean St. George, Tommy D. Everybody's here. Everybody's here. What's going on?
Hail,
Everybody
hail,
doing?
the gang's all here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got Broken Pine, MGTOW Outlaw.
hey,
Oh, I only have enough room for 6. Fuck. Shit.
hey,
All right.
let me jump off. I just want to say, hey, my friend, I
Hey,
just wanted to help out
thank you.
because,
I
I
appreciate that.
love your channel. I'm trying to support it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, Crusader Nate. Hey, Sean.
I think he's
Hey,
George.
in the bathroom at the moment.
Oh, snap. Hey,
Yeah.
I wanted to reach out to you, though. If you want me to jump off, I just want to reach out to you because I want to start my channel.
Oh, cool.
I want to bring a community to support. As you know, I have to thank Pop, Blake, Red Pill. Really,
Yeah.
right? You know how people I support, and I just want to make sure everyone gets a shout out, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're all right.
But definitely, when you're talking about when you got to go, you got to go. People are not thinking correctly. Correct? Can I speak real quick, or is that not
Yeah,
okay?
no, go ahead.
Okay, Roger that. So people are not thinking how much they can carry, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just get in your car, and please don't get in one of those electric cars because guess what?
Yeah, you'll be fucked.
Yeah, you're screwed, right? And even if you get in a gas car, I'm telling you what, you got to be able to march on foot. You have to be able to carry. So when I
Yep.
see, and I'm sorry, I'm saying when I'm seeing seeds, I'm saying your water infiltrate. Like you got to make sure you can't just drink water from the river, or you're going to get sick, right?
Well, they have those life straws you can get, and they
Roger
also
that.
have what do you call them? Like why can't I think? There's filtered drinking bottles that
Yeah.
have a filter in them, so they're more than so. A drinking straw, you basically have to put the straw into the water. So it's
Okay.
really like a lifesaver kind of thing. Whereas the bottle, you can have to fill up the bottle and then
Roger
drink
that.
from it because it's
So is that straw? Is that good? Like, can you use it
yeah.
over
But
and over, or is it like once and done?
well, I think you can
No.
get several uses out of it. But the problem again is you have to literally put the straw into the water, like lay down on the
Yeah.
ground and stick the straw into the water. Whereas they have bottles that you can have fill up and it has the filter in the bottle.
Roger that.
I would suggest that as
Roger
opposed to
that.
I have one that's a pump. You can pump it into a bottle. You can pump
yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I have. That's what I have.
That's what I have
Who
too.
said that?
I'm actually. That's Nate here.
Oh,
That's
hey,
what I have.
Nate, what's up?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm gonna go. I'm grabbing the link right now. This is the filter from the filter company I actually have.
Awesome.
It's called Survivor Filter. It
Mhm.
filters down to goes down to 0.01 microns.
Okay, Roger
Ooh.
that. Oh,
Which-
wow. That's actually that's better water than you can get from the bottled water.
Yeah.
You're actually at that level. You're looking at filtering out single virons. You're blocking any and all microbes.
Mhm.
You're filtering out mercury. You're filtering out lead. You're filtering out fluoride. You are literally getting as close to pure natural water as possible.
Yeah, you are. You are. And I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. I just wanted to call him because
That's right.
hey,
no worries.
Billy, I fucking love you and I support you.
Oh,
And
thank you.
hey, Crusader Nate, it's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen you. And there's a bunch of also, hey, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Sean.
Oh,
George.
jeez.
Happy birthday
Oh,
to
it's your
you.
birthday,
Sorry, I
Sean?
just had to say it. Yeah.
That was
Oh.
yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah.
happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday,
I
Sean.
just had to say it.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Hey, man, you know I got you, Battle.
29 again?
Yep, we're all 29. Oh wait, excuse my French.
29
I'm
again?
sorry,
Yeah.
Billy. I'm sorry. Didn't want to cuss. I apologize about that. Yeah, but I wanted to reach out and be like, it's his birthday. But hey, flint is good. I mean, you need to have a flint, right, to start your fire.
Yep.
Get your dryer lint, right?
Yep.
But people need to know, don't try and carry more than you can carry. Like you need to put everything that you can in your whatever you can call it, bug out bag,
Bug out bag.
rucksack, whatever. I'm gonna call it rucksack because that's
So-
army. But
Yeah.
So
right?
my suggestion is to never bug out unless you absolutely have to.
Roger.
Bugging out,
Never leave home.
Absolutely.
you are putting yourself into usually unknown territory,
Mhm.
right? Whereas like if you're by your house, you should know your general area, where to fucking skip to somewhere close by where if you
Right.
have to get out quick. But
Right.
I really wouldn't suggest anybody bug out unless it's
Exactly.
really fucking bad.
You are 1000% correct.
Oh,
And
your
I
house
let
is
certain people
many
know.
things. It's your storage, your shelter,
It's your
the
biggest
place where
threat.
you keep your
It's your
tools. It's your biggest asset.
It's your fort.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, the one challenge I took many years ago from a friend of mine, he was like, "Look," he said, "see what you can You just grab a backpack, a day pack, whatever it may be, 3-day assault pack, whatever you have handy. Put it on your back. Hop on a bike or go for a walk. Go to your local grocery store. See how much of what you can get in of things you normally use and things you normally get. Make it to the store. Make it back. Time yourself. What does it take for you to do that? If you can do that with a day pack, do it with a bike. If you can do it with a bike, see how much you can put on a backpack on a bike. Number one, it's good for exercise. Number two, it teaches you the local roads in your area, how to get to and from different areas.
Holy shit, that's good. That's really
Well, I put that in the chat earlier. Learn to read your maps and learn
good.
how to do
People
land
need to know how
navigation.
to map.
100%. Yeah, get a good compass too.
Just like Crusader.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to do that. You need to be able to know how to read grid coordinates. Like I said earlier, I said, hey, if you got friends, the best
magnetic declination
power
too.
together. If you bring each other together, the better you are
Yeah.
off against.
Well, that's
I don't want to
that's
say
a
nothing over
rule.
your show. I don't want to ruin anything.
No,
No,
but
you
that's
did great.
a good rule to live by. Look, and you know, a lot of us operate solo, right?
Mhm.
And
You're
that's
right.
good for the day to day, but when
Right.
shit goes down, you definitely want to have a network of people, because who's easier to take down, a group or a solo?
A solo is
Solo.
easier to take down, and if
course.
you have a group and you can trust them, but they're gonna have your 6, your 12 o'clock, your 9 o'clock, your 3 o'clock. You know you can trust on them, and you give them a certain grid coordinates. You all meet up here when stuff goes down. When stuff goes down, yeah, throw. First of all, I don't know if I can say this on your show, and I'm sorry if I say that. You tell me and drop me, but Constantine wire. You need to have some Constantine wire so you can set up for all military. You can throw me off right now. I'm
Yeah,
so
you
sorry.
can set up perimeter.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I don't see nothing out. Like
I'm not looking. Our razor wire is awesome.
right. I got tons of it, and my thing is like the closer you can get into the woods, the closer you can get into a swamp, the closer you can get into an area that there's like brush. Doesn't matter if it's a desert. I've done desert tree. I've done all the swamp. Doesn't matter. If you're in the mountains, you're lucky if you're in the mountains, right? When you got trees around. I'm sorry, Billy. If you want to drop me, you can. I don't want to give out.
No,
We're
keep
listening.
going.
We're listening. Look, you
Right,
get
Roger that.
you have experience in the field.
Roger that. Yes, my battle. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, if you have to be able, you can't say, oh, I'm gonna grab all this stuff, but if it can't go on your back, or let's say your kid's back, if you have your kids, if you have your kids, thank God, because of I won't say the bad name of them. But if they ain't there to have your 6, they ain't there, right? But whoever has your 6, you got to make sure that they can carry a certain load. You can't think, oh, yep, I got 150 pounds. So guess what? My 12-year-old is going to have 150 pounds. Nope. I'm telling you, seeds, correct? Roger that.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that you know how to make those seeds grow. You need, first of all, make sure you have a water infiltration, just like we were talking about earlier, right? That is probably the biggest thing that can keep you alive. That is the number one, and I will say this as a first sergeant, that is the biggest thing that will keep you alive and keep you going. If
Clean
you
water.
understand, how to make sure your water, because you just can't go to the river and go, I'm just gonna drink. This looks really clean.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna drink it. No.
All kinds
Yeah,
of
the old cowboy story is never drink downstream from the herd.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right. Because I lived I grew up on a farm, but you know what? I'm telling you what, the further you can get out, and like I said about the grid coordinates, if you can secretly give grid coordinates to people that you trust, right? That you trust, and when shoot goes down, right? Y'all meet up at that position. When you meet up at that position, then that's when you gotta set up your grid your safety bounds. So you gotta do your, hey, let's put up the Constantine wire. Let's do this. Let's put up bells. Right? A bell is, if you can buy bells, this is something that I don't think people talk about. That bells can alert you.
Bear bells.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Roger that.
A little hasty alert system.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have your correct. Roger that. You have that, and if those don't work, guess what you do? As military, already know. You about to get blown up.
Yeah.
Gonna put out stuff.
So I want to rotate some
I'm
guys.
sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to put that out
Yeah,
there.
I'll bounce off.
Wants to call back in. So I want to rotate at least one guy in and out.
I'll
So
bounce
I'll
off,
jump.
Kelly.
I'll jump off.
okay, thank you, Broken Pine. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks, buddy.
Good to see you, man.
Good
Broken
seeing you.
Pine. Salute.
So let's see. We'll take, and we got MGTOW Owl. How are you, sir?
Hey,
There
what's
goes
up?
Hey,
What up? What up?
What's up, Outlaw? Hey, I'll jump off. I don't want to make anybody else jump off, you know.
Oh, we're
I appreciate
appreciating
you
your
all.
commentary. I
Yeah.
saw Eric Zombro was in here and they popped off. If you want to get back in here, I will rotate you in, Eric. And there you go. Okay, so
But
Go ahead.
no, I've already been sounding the alarm bells since yesterday. I made a video about this subject, and I think I made one today, but I didn't get to upload it.
okay,
But, yeah, I'm already out ahead on the curve of this new COVID-19 nonsense fixing to happen. So
yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, well, whatever it may be, just make sure that you have, a couple months of stuff on hand, so that way it's not a matter of if things run out, it's when things run out. You just need to change your mindset on that, whatever the emergency may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better to have and not need than need not have.
Yeah,
And you're
Right.
right. If you could get people on average to train themselves to prepare in the good time. Yeah, we've talked about this before on Red Pill Rhino stream. If you can train yourself to think to prepare in the good times when shit's not happening, when nothing's bad's happening, in peaceful times, it's invaluable.
Right. And do you guys know one thing? I know I don't want to say this, but pantyhose, if you don't have a correct water infiltration, right? If you do pantyhose twice, it will act. I know that sounds crazy, right? Because I don't even own a pair.
I don't even know where you could find that shit anymore. They sold it everywhere.
Walgreens.
If pantyhose
I'm
work,
showing my age in the
then,
military. God damn it.
Any drugstore.
wouldn't leggings work?
Yes, they will. If you infiltrate your water with that, I'm telling you, it will clean it out. I promise you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Crusader Nate will probably. I don't know. Are you on with me on this one? Because I think we're the same time in the military. Is that correct?
Tommy was and Sean was, but Nate
Oh,
was.
Yeah.
Sean.
I was a
Nate,
contract.
Was it you or Sean that
sorry.
mentioned cheesecloths the other night for filtering stuff?
Oh shit.
Probably me.
That's all. Yeah, that's good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Well,
I'm okay
it's just
with
great
it.
for your soups or anything
Yeah.
like stocks
Right.
because you're gonna throw in a shitload of
Your meat.
your seasoning. So like
Yeah.
your peppercorns, your herbs,
Yep.
spices, cinnamon,
Yep.
shit that you don't want floating in the water. And
Right.
it also makes
Yeah.
it very easy for retrieval when you need to do your sieving.
Right.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to say it because
Would-
it's all about, the CUNTs. I'm so sorry, Billy. I'm so sorry I said that.
Would it
That's okay.
technically
I'm
work
sorry.
for filtrating water?
But I'm just trying to help out.
Cheesecloth, I don't think so.
No.
No,
it's
because
too
what-
large.
Yeah, it's too
If
large.
you have
What you're
grapple-
going to need to
actually
no,
can.
what for filtering water, you're going to want something at least half a micron or smaller. The
Right.
smaller, the better. The other thing you can do is make sure that you have a way of boiling water.
Yeah, you always have to boil no matter
Okay.
what.
I just want to interrupt real quick because I know Eric's
Yeah.
been waiting patiently. So just
Yeah, get them in here.
well, one has to jump because I'm on.
I can go ahead and drop out.
Well,
I'll drop out.
don't leave. Don't leave. I'll just rotate you out for the time being. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sounds
right.
good.
All right. Hold on. Sorry, Eric. You're on now. Finally, Eric. He's muted. Shit.
My brother.
Yeah.
He probably
I know. No, I'm here.
Ah, cool.
I wanted to bring up something too
Salute.
that a lot of people overlook is medical supplies.
Yes.
And I'm talking about like if shit does go down, like you should be able to you should learn how to like set limbs.
Mhm.
I purchased suture kits, disposable staplers,
Yes.
all sorts of stuff. But you
Oh.
can get you can get this stuff cheap on Amazon.
Mhm.
Like they sell disposable staplers that come preloaded with like 50 staples for $8.
Mhm.
And it's good. You buy
Yeah.
it, you throw it in your bag. Bandages, this stuff is good to have. I've hoarded about, I'd say, a year's supply of Tylenol, Motrin, all sorts of cold supplies. I got antibiotics.
Yes.
And you should also stock up on Neosporin.
Mhm.
Can you still buy those septic sticks?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
That's also a good if you get
and the like I was saying earlier, the dollar store. If you go to like the little pharmacy section, they sell stuff like wound wash and iodine for like $2 to $3.
Oh yeah.
And this is all stuff that you should have. And like I said, a lot of people when they say, "Oh, I'm a prepper," like they're only thinking of food and water and everything else like that. It's imperative to think of like tourniquets, splints, braces for like if you sprain your ankle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You're right about having that. Now, I will give a little bit of a caveat on that.
Sure.
Having the knowledge and the training to know how to use it is far more important than having it on hand. I
have both.
Yeah, I got well over a decade of training as a medic.
Yeah.
I have right, Eric. If you're in that, I have 6 different trauma bags.
Yeah,
in my
I have
house
3
right now.
Yeah, less.
Yeah, but when I say over a decade worth of being a medic, and I have that. I mean, I could probably jerry rig a surgical room in a house if I had.
You would, yeah.
If I had to, I could too.
Yeah,
and I have from my mom being a nurse. She stole not steal. How would you say? She found a bunch of medical supplies that she used to use when we needed my brother and I needed medical attention growing up. So
yeah, but
it's called
the biggest
yes,
yeah, it's how people acquire supplies. But yeah, having go out and learn how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, if that's something that's not your skill set, find a neighbor, find somebody, find a family member,
right?
Because you probably know somebody that's in medical in one way, shape, or form. Build them into your network of people that you have accessible to you.
Now,
you're correct, Crusader Nate, because all you need is one of those. You know how people have to do with their diabetes. You know how they have to get the needles. You know how you can turn a needle into an IV to make a water bag, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can use heck. You can use certain thorns out in the wild.
Yeah,
because they're hollow. But
you're right.
But I think also too you should if you can find a good group, a bug out location, and a good group to bug out with. That's imperative because I that's what I have.
Yeah.
Well, something. Go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead, Outlaw. Go ahead.
I was just going to say on a side note, something kind of obscure, but it might help in the long run. Be on the lookout, guys, for wooden stoves.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because with all of these restrictions they're fixing to start putting in place, trying to do away with gas stoves, wood stoves, hot water heaters, generators, stuff like that. Now would probably, like Crusader Nate was saying a while ago, now would probably be a really good time to jump on trying to find a wood stove or learning how to build one.
Roger that.
Yeah. I mean, Outlaw, you raise a great point. I mean, 20 feet away from me, I have a small titanium collapsible wood stove that fits into a 3-day assault pack.
Me too.
It's the size. It's the size of a legal pad.
Yeah.
and it's like 1.5 inches thick, and it weighs like 1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'm in the Midwest.
Mine actually weighs a little less, but go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
But yeah, I mean, having something, am I going to need it regularly? No. But living in the Midwest, is there a high probability that I may need to be able to burn something to create heat? Yes. I have. There's another small stove that I carry in a lot of my backpacks. It's a redundant thing I have. It's a firebox stove. It collapses. Maybe
like a Bunsen burner?
No, it's about 1/4 inch thick when it's collapsed. Okay. I could probably start sharing the link with Rhino and everybody else. But I can fold it out. You can put charcoal in it. You can put wood in it. You can put anything in it, and you can actually boil small, single portion serving stuff. Make small meals on it, and you can keep feeding it. And these are little things that, in a pinch, in an emergency, okay, yeah, you live in a suburb, you live in a city. Okay, go out on the sidewalk, go out into a parking lot. If you need to, light a small, whatever it may be, a little fire to make a cup of coffee, you can do it. Right. Have little things like that, because in an emergency, if you do need to move, you have to go, let's say you have to make it from work. Let's say something bad happens, power's out or whatever near work, and you need to be able to walk home, and it's a 20-mile walk. Are you in shape enough to do that? Do you have stuff in your work bag that you take to work with you? Do you have water? Do you have a way to replenish your water? Do you have something that'll get you the calories to get your butt home? Those are the little things you need to think about. You need to change your mindset, that no matter where you are, your goal is to make it home, where all of your gear is.
And I've been, that Charles Darwin mentioned that. See, I've been seeing a lot of these videos here lately popping up on how to build these little bitty stoves, but they build them out of like clay or,
the clay pot like stoves. Yeah.
I am thinking Friday that I'm going to revisit the canning stuff. And I think we're going to do like a 2-part stream to possibly do that and learn how to maybe make a clay stove or something.
Well, I think that's important. I also think, like, you guys touched on it earlier in the stream, like learning different trades, learning different things, like how to butcher like a chicken, how to cut your own meat, how to gut a fish,
and make sure you're not going to get sick.
Right. And that's important too, soldier girls, to do it properly.
Roger that.
Like, because like Nate, you're in the Midwest, so you've heard about all the people who go, boar hunting because they're an invasive species, and they just they slaughter it right on the roadside, and bring the meat home, and it's barbecue time right at night. Like, this is something that you should know.
Yeah, you are so right. I swear to God. Because you have to have to meet a certain temp. You sure have to make sure that you know how. Once you've killed your dinner, you have to know the certain procedures. Know them before you have to so-called, I'm saying this correctly, Billy Von Baum, I'm so sorry, bug out. But if I'm saying it incorrectly, please let me know and you can throw me off. I'm so sorry, because I'm here to support you all, and I could tell you so much. Hey, Crusader Nate, you're on point. Eric, you're on point. Billy, you're on point. Sean, you're on point. Everyone's on point on panel, and even in chat, it seems like they know what to do, and it's like, it's awesome. You know what I mean?
Billy, I'm going to jump out so someone else can go in, but thank you for having me. This was a great stream. Thanks for doing it. And Outlaw, I look forward to your future stream on the building that stuff. So
Eric Zombra, hey, much respect. I'm saluting you, and we'll talk soon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Send me a text.
Okay.
Take care.
You too.
Have a good night.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is to have things in place that can't be tampered with modern technology, right? Well, we know older clay stoves or wood burning stuff, they can't tamper with that. With a push of a button or stuff like that. So things that are self-containing that you can use and rebuild, and if you have to, with renewable resources, stuff like that. So,
well, yeah, I mean, one of the key things is, number one, be prepared to hunker down and to bug in at your home, at your residence.
Turn it back.
Have everything prepared to be able to do that indefinitely.
Mhm.
That's step one. Step two is once you have everything to be within your home comfortable, step two is to be able to create something that's personally mobile that you can take yourself. That's step two. Because if and when you need to go, you need to be prepared to go.
Right.
Yep.
You got to be able to prepare to hold that weight. That's
Exactly.
why I always say seeds, and know what you're going to do with those seeds.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and you have to get seeds that you know that can grow in your area.
Roger that.
And the other thing you need to make sure that you're getting heirloom seeds, not hybrid seeds.
Roger that. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you for saying that. I'm sorry.
Because
So here's
those are important.
here's what I
Go ahead,
learned
Mando.
about. Well, let me just real quick. So I learned about planting seeds and all that stuff because I started doing that during the first pandemic. So I was planting all these different things, and I found that only really 3 things worked in my area reliably. So I said, fuck all this other stuff. Let me just stick with what's working reliably.
Roger
So
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
that's what I have to say about that. Mando,
You're
how
on
are you?
point. You're on point, Billy.
Just to kind of tie in on a couple of things that have been said and to agree with something that was in a chat. One, you do need to make sure you have as much stuff that you can do with renewable energy as possible. I have a couple of flashlights that are multifunction that are solar powered. And when they're fully charged, they can be used to charge up other devices.
Okay. Oh, I said it. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say it out loud.
Sorry.
And in addition to that,
Sorry.
one of these flashlights is basically a 4-function device. You've got the normal light, you've got a strobe light capability off the front, and then on the side it's got kind of a beacon light that can be toggled to have a kind of a flashing red and blue siren type light.
Yep.
That particular one also has a emergency siren on the back plate that's covered by a compass. Now it's a garbage compass. You wouldn't want to try to use it for actual military land nav, but it would be good enough to be able to keep you on more or less the right track.
Roger that. I'm so sorry if I put that out there about the.
No, that's okay.
I'm so sorry, but I know what you're talking about.
Stop
because that is
apologizing.
a flashlight you need to have because it's a wind up one, correct?
No.
Stop.
No, it's a straight up solar.
It's solar.
You can plug it into charged up USB, or you can leave it out in the sun so it can be charged by Bob.
Right now, have you gotten the one that you can charge up where it's wind up? It's a wind up.
No, I have.
Anybody understand what I'm talking about when I'm saying wind up?
I've seen those. I don't much like them because when I move, I try to move quietly.
Roger that.
And those things, even when they're not on, they make noise. I noticed.
They actually do make a lot of noise, but at the same time, I do have my solar ones. But if you do have a wind up one for a backup, when you wind that thing up, because if you don't have light throughout the night and you wind that thing up, you're going to have what I just said, which I did not mean to say over your channel, Billy, and I apologize.
It's okay.
But you have what I said, but you still have the different lights, and you have, like you said, the different flashing lights. Because because not attacks are all going to be during the day. Just so you guys know. You're going to have attacks during the night, as you guys know.
The one you need to worry about is night.
Couple other items that I've acquired over the last several years. And some of this is geared for prepping. Some of it's just good to have on hand, in my opinion. And I'm going to just shoot this off down the list in no particular order. A solar thermos. You can put, or the one I have, you can put between 8 and 16 ounces of water into it. I don't remember off the top of my head which it is, and I'm not going to go digging through my cupboard to get it out. That you can put water into. You put this thing in the sun, you open the panel or the side panels up like a flower. They're mirrored. They're concave. They shine onto the metal and glass cylinder in the center. Depending on the sun intensity, you can have boiling water. Well, in current conditions here where I'm at, probably in 30 minutes. In the dead of winter, probably close to like 3 or 4 hours. If you're trying to move with it, I don't know if it would actually work, but in theory it would be. But most of us, I think, are aiming for the shelter-in-place concept. So,
No, you're right. You're right. The thing is though that when it gets into like the winter times, right? We have less with the solar. Solar can definitely. You're right. 1,000%. That's you're on point. But when winter comes, we have less hours, right? So that's the only time I'm seeing the wind up.
Well, the further north you are, the more that's a bigger problem.
Roger that.
Sticking with the wintertime stuff for right now, and stuff that can generally just stick into a pocket. I also have a solar powered battery pack that can double as a beacon light. So if you're traveling with someone and you can actually trust this person and something goes crazy, you can go ahead and either use that to power your cell phone or radio, or you can activate the beacon light and let them know, hey, this is where I dropped off.
Is it grid coordinates?
No, it's not that kind of beacon. It's just a small beacon flashlight. I don't know if you ever watched Star Trek: The Next Generation, but like those silly little square flashlights that they used to carry around on that show.
Yeah.
By beacon, you mean like a strobe light?
Yeah.
Or it has a strobe function?
Yeah.
Right. Was it you, Mando, that mentioned the last time we talked about this? If you need to start a fire quick, if you have a 9-volt battery and what was it, steel wool?
Yep.
You can use that to start a quick fire so that you have something to heat.
You can use your lint. That'll help you.
But in addition to that, I've also picked up a couple of battery-powered hand warmers, which these charge up just like a USB power pack. They can be used like a USB power pack if you need to. Or with a click of a button, you have 3 heat settings that you can start these things up on and switch them from one hand to another one. So you have that available. Or if you're like me and you want to keep moving when it's excessively cold, you can take one of those things, wrap it up in a gator neck, put some 550 cord around it, stick the 550 cord around your neck, and slip the thing under your shirt so that way it sits roughly on the center of your back.
Right. And 550 cord is going to definitely save everyone's life. Everyone has to have 550 cord. You can wrap it around your knife, you can wrap around your watch, you can do it in a bracelet. 550 cord is something that will save your life, actually.
Another piece of field-esque equipment that I've accumulated is technically not a piece of equipment. You can get these at most surplus stores. MREs.
Yep, there you go.
They are terrible.
Those are like way back up.
Yeah, on average, they're not great. Yeah, but they're geared for a 2,000 calorie a day diet. You don't want to eat these things if you're sheltering in place and you have anything else available. If you have dog food and no dog, go with that before you go with the MREs.
Oh wow!
But yeah, especially when they come out, because they're notorious for being very constipation-y.
That's why they only give you like one little square of toilet paper in it.
Hang on.
So magnesium citrate, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'll help.
Now, this last item I'm going to mention isn't necessarily a prep item per se, and it's definitely not portable. But I have a kit that I got from my mom a couple years back, where you can put down like paper towels or similar, moisten them, put down some seeds, and you can get sprouts out of them over time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
bean sprouts and similar plant sprouts, you can use that to either start these and then plant them in actual soil, or you can use them as a high nutrient food item for emergency purposes.
You can actually eat those bean sprouts like that pop up, the fresh ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're good on salads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing though, Billy. If you put out Billy Von Baum, if you put out like what mushrooms, like in different areas, this would be a really good area because it gives you.
Mushrooms are a little tricky.
Okay.
They are in different ranges. In different ranges, like if you're in the western states, if you're in the northern or southern or eastern, that would actually be a really helpful thing. I believe. If I'm wrong, you guys, you tell me I'm wrong.
So
You might
would it
wanna
be a good idea
go ahead.
then, since you're entering into what sounds like Boy Scouts territory, would it be a good idea to maybe revisit the old Boy Scouts?
Let's do it out loud.
I was thinking
You're driving the plane.
consult your local university because they probably have some sort of horticulture department that will show you what is edible, what's not, or what's medicinal.
Yeah, I actually could show you. I could explain each mushroom.
But like up here in Alaska, survival is very common, not just because it's necessary for normal life, but you have advanced techniques, we even have for-profit schools for it. So it maybe if your area has that, maybe consider attending courses.
Real quick, hold on. I just want to address Charles Darwin. Had talked about if testing theories, if they work. He has problems growing grass and weeds and all this. So I've had it work for me, but you have to plant a lot to sustain one adult, right? You can't just plant like 3 pots and be like, I'm good. You have to plant a lot of it I just supplement my food with what I plant. I would need a lot more. I would need to do a lot more to sustain myself. And I'm not going to take, a quarter of my property and make it into a garden or farm. I just don't have the time. But if shit came down to it, I would turn every part of my lawn into a farm. Like it would look like Farmville.
And be concertina wire everywhere too, right?
Of course.
Well, didn't the Boy Scouts basically teach you how to find like water sources and if you got lost?
Years and years ago, they used to. I think they
do that
dropped
much
off.
anymore.
I know when I was in it back in the late 80s, early 90s, that was not something that was really gone over overly much.
And then the certain types of berries and stuff you could eat. It just in a worst comes to worst scenario, shit really hits. That's what I'm saying. But
that'd be
I would think a few of those things could help you, like finding water sources and.
Now
more streams. Sorry.
Go ahead, Mando.
You can find a lot of the old Boy Scout books still in used bookstores and quite possibly in PDF form on the internet. But the other thing I wanted to point out, first aid kits are necessary. Training in how to use them is definitely necessary. But anyone who is ever in Europe knows about these things. The Germans specifically, I think the French as well, require if you're driving in that country that you have a first aid box that contains X amount of gauze, X amount of dressing materials, all sorts of stuff. Because at least in that country, if there's a major wreck on their equivalent to an interstate, the Autobahn, and you're the first one there, you're the first responder by German law.
Roger that.
Wow.
And I have one of those boxes that I really need to go about getting it restocked because I'm out of almost a third of it. But those boxes have pretty much everything you need to treat most kind of bleed wounds that you come across. They can also be used in a pinch to treat burn wounds. But you're going to you're going to need to have at least some basic knowledge of how to do this. And Eric Zombro has it dead on the mark with what I'm mentioning.
No, he does. He's on point.
This one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, that, like I said, that's in Germany. I don't think the United States has Good Samaritan laws of that nature. But
you're right. You're right.
I think maybe certain places does, because that reminds me of the Seinfeld finale where they got prosecuted for Good Samaritan law that they didn't do.
No, I thought they got prosecuted for bad comedy.
Real quick, I just wanted to address Timothy Sokol had mentioned about, grab everything you can in 50 seconds and then run into the forest. So, as we discussed on Rhino's stream last week, is to have a go bag. So, I would suggest anybody, put a go bag together that you got everything you need. That you can carry. Like, I got one of those big fucking one of my cousins got me for because I like to go hiking in the woods. They got me this huge fucking like Appalachian, like when you see like people carrying in the Rockies with like a sleeping bag on top, and like this thing can, I mean, it's huge. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll make this my go bag. And it's this huge fucking go bag, and it's very comfortable.
Can you carry it?
I can carry it.
It's
massive.
like a medic bag.
20 miles, I'm telling you. You gotta make sure you can carry it.
But it's full and ready to go. I don't know if I could carry it for that long, but I could try.
Oh snap! You can do it. You can do it.
There is one other thing I would like to touch on real quick before I jump off, so you can make room for.
No, I'll jump off. I'll jump off, you guys.
Well, no, hey.
Sure. Okay. Well, whatever we want to do. We'll get Tommy back in here. So whoever wants to leave for Tommy.
So Soldier Girl, you might want to wait a minute because you're going to want to jump in on this as well. I can guarantee you.
I love you.
If you live near a major transport hub, either a shipping hub, a train station, train tracks, major interstate, or any kind of power facility, water treatment facility, you're going to want to have some kind of atmospheric protection and decontamination gear available.
1000%. 1000%.
Now, Rhino, we did a show with Rhino probably about a year ago where we went over in depth how you can keep yourself reasonably safe in case of a chemical or biological incident.
Oh, we did do that, didn't we? Which I was going to ask you something. I'm sorry, don't mean to, but hey, I want to do a stream and bring you guys all on if you guys would come on to my stream, because I want to be supportive of military and let them know they're not alone. So I'm so sorry. I'm like cutting you off.
It's okay.
Midstream. I'm so sorry.
Hey,
I was just asking if you guys all would do that. And Billy, I was going to ask you to do a crazy video of me, whatever you, because you always do something cool. You did something cool for Pop and Blake, and you did for Red Rhino. You guys know you guys saved my brother, and I can't thank you enough. And I want to donate to you guys so much. I didn't mean to interrupt you while you were talking about this, but
hey, Soldier Girl, you just let me know the time in the day, and I'll make sure to put some time in my schedule for it.
Yes, you're awesome. Thank you.
I
didn't mean to stop that, but you're on point. You're on point when you're talking about this. Because I'm gonna give you my GPS location, and I want to give everyone else, because I know that you're gonna have my 6, or you're gonna have my 12 o'clock, or my 3 o'clock, or my 9 o'clock. I know you're gonna have it, and I'll have yours, just so you know ahead of time.
What you want to do if you're at in a location where you have to potentially worry about somebody doing or making some kind of a nasty spill, or a pressure system going crazy or whatever.
Right.
You're going to want at a minimum some kind of plastic that you can put up, preferably on the outside if you have a warning.
Yeah.
Otherwise on the inside of anything that has atmosphere coming into your living space.
Roger that.
You're also going to want to have something that you can utilize as a filter mechanism if and when you have to go outside.
Roger that, and that's what we've been taught in the military.
Now,
God, I really hope things don't get to that level.
Well,
there we go, Billy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Billy, what I'm describing is in case of an East Palestine incident in the middle of a lockdown.
Yep.
Because if you noticed what I said, near travel hubs, interstates, or similar, because those are places that we already know our infrastructure is not where it should be. We already know that people are playing some weird hinky games with the infrastructure.
Yep.
If you're locked down and all of a sudden you get a message on your radio, TV, internet, whatever, saying, shelter in place, there's been a train derailment X number of miles from your location. Follow any instructions given by local fire department.
Don't do it.
You're going to need to have something to maximize the possibilities that you are going to survive. Sealed water and food containers in areas that have limited access to atmosphere. You've already described having a pantry in 3 different locations. I'm going to take a wild shot in the dark and say at least one of those locations air can get to, but it has a hard time getting to it. So those supplies are going to be good. I live in a small 1-bedroom apartment. The most I'm going to be able to do is put plastic over the sliding glass door in the front room, plastic over the window in my bedroom, plastic over my front door.
You got to get out of there. You got to get out of there, and
that's if I'm doing the SIP protocol.
Correct.
If I'm going to evac to another location, I already have a few.
Don't say it over.
I have a few plans already set up.
Okay, roger that.
But I just figured I'd go ahead and just reiterate, because my bread and butter for 13 or 11 years active duty was chemical warfare.
Roger that, and we need you, so I'm going to give you my grid coordinates. Because I need you. Because I love you before, but I love you even more. Because
pass it along in the Gilded, where you're not
Roger
getting
that.
the entire universe.
I will.
Yeah.
Where no one else. I mean, yeah. Okay, Roger, you're tracking. Yeah, I could give you my grid coordinates right now, but
no, not over the wide internet.
Not open the open channels.
Roger that.
The last thing I'm gonna reiterate on this particular subject, and then I'm gonna jump off because I need to go ahead and call it a night. Yep. Office work sucks.
Right.
If you are in a situation where you do have some kind of nasty spill occur in your general neighborhood, and you have the warning, if you're able to get outside to apply the plastic and preferably some 2-inch or 2-inch wide duct tape to it, you're going to need to clean yourself off afterwards.
Yep.
The clothing that you wore inside, you're going to more or less want to shuck most of that outside into a garbage bag. Tie off that garbage bag and leave it outside. When you get into your living space, you're going to want to have a bucket, or you're going to want to have a couple of buckets and some sponges. Regular Dawn dish soap will work for this. You'll want to wipe yourself down with it. You'll want to make sure that anything that was exposed gets hit with it. You're going to then want to dry off real good. And if you have power, you're going to want to go take a quick shower. And the clothing that you had underneath, you're going to want to bag that as well. And this is all assuming you're able to do this before the cloud gets to you. The reason the stuff that you wore outside is going to be put into a bag outside is because you could get residual contamination. But like I said, Rhino and I, we did a long, in-depth stream on this about a year ago.
Do you remember what it was called?
Staying clean in a dirty place. Or keeping clean in a dirty place, something along that line.
Okay.
You're 1,000% right.
If you're having to travel on foot and something like this happens, or if you're in a vehicle and something like this happens, your best options are to figure out which way is upwind of the scenario, travel perpendicular to the wind direction and the cloud direction, and do what you can to get out of the area if you have an idea what the shortest route possible is. Do not go low to the ground, because a lot of these chemicals are heavier than air and you will choke yourself out.
Right.
And stay out of water wherever possible. The filter systems that you guys talked about earlier are great for drinking water. They're not so great for drinking water out of a chemically contaminated area.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a
You're
vehicle,
1000% right on that. You are right.
And if you're in a vehicle and you know something like this is occurring, close all windows, close all vents, turn off the AC and heating system. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be unpleasant. But you need to get out of the dirty area. And if you're able to get to some place that has a car wash, run through the car wash. It's probably going to be expensive, especially if it's an automated one. Go through it. Use the most bare bones basic that they have, because all you're doing is getting the nasty off your car so it's safe for you to exit.
But you're still in the...
And you're still in the vehicle.
Yeah.
And somebody called it, a Broken Pine called it out correctly. This is Army Chemical Corps Decontamination 101. At least for the Army, every soldier who goes through basic training goes through a light version of this.
We sure do.
Of this training. And Soldier Girl, is anything that I just described more than what you're taught to do in basic?
Oh my God. You exactly explained it correctly. 1000%. And then the ones that have gone through, wait, you have to remember there's the CUNTs that run out, and we have to sit there for like 2 or 3 times with the gas, correct?
Pretty much. And
so
Sean,
the strong ones get through it, but the weak ones make the stronger ones go through it more. Am I lying?
You're not lying. Sean, would you agree with the statements that I just made?
I think you got a little bit more than what I got, but you were in before I was.
And I was also a chemical specialist, so...
Yeah, that too. No, the most they really did for us, which was to give us, or like the standard issue decon kit that we would get.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the testing strips, and then I forget what it was that they had, but they're like...
well, we're not going to say the name over the stream anyway.
Yeah, we shouldn't say it over the stream. I was going to say, like, no, you're on point when you're talking about we're going through the gas chamber and we got people who are like, oh my God.
Oh, well.
And then you have to get requalified, as you know, when you get more rank. You guys, right?
Well,
am I not lying?
Okay.
No, I did it once. That was it.
But you are correct. No, you are correct. Sorry, I just want to make sure that you are correct.
But by the book, you're supposed to actually, or every soldier is supposed to go in the Army. Every soldier is supposed to go through a CS chamber once a year.
Roger,
that's by the book.
That is by the book, and you're correct.
Now, most of the time, they find excuses not to do the chamber.
Oh yeah.
Most of the time,
I did it.
Yeah, they made
every time.
Now, when I finally got my stripes, I made life miserable for a lot of my leaders, because I wouldn't let them just check the block. They had to do the CS chamber.
Yes.
And I'm one of those weirdos who I've got a minor immunity.
You're not a weirdo. You're awesome.
Let me finish. I've got a minor immunity to CS. I can go into a CS chamber and it will not faze me.
Oh, I had drills like that. We're all wondering how the hell are they surviving this while we're coughing and choking on our own snot.
So,
we're like this.
But the stuff I'm describing, Yeah, I joke about it a little bit, but that is, as Crusader can attest, that is just a defense mechanism. Because believe me, yeah, some of this stuff you see, if you don't make jokes, you will go insane.
Exactly, and that's what you're doing, and I love that about you.
Mm.
I've always loved that about you. You make jokes about what we've gone through, and it's amazing.
But on
It
that
is.
note, Billy, thank you for having me on.
No,
I'm gonna.
Coming.
I have to jump off, and before you say don't go, I have to continue doing a PFAS survey for my company tomorrow.
yeah.
Well, have fun with that.
Oh, you're still active.
Can you just
No,
write
no,
fuck it,
my
fuck it, fuck it, fuck
civilian
it for every
company.
answer?
Okay.
Oh. No, you can't do that shit.
No, see, okay, Billy,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna hijack your stream for just half a second.
Okay.
And
Half
this
Boom.
now this is something that people will actually get some use out of too, though.
Can laugh.
There's a set of chemicals known as forever chemicals. I'm not going to go into all the details because it'll just bore everyone to death. That these chemicals are so tiny, anatomical or chemically speaking, that they are almost immeasurable. The problem is they are in almost every plastic that we make.
Oh yeah.
So there's been issues with these things leaching out. Most industries have been taking a whack-a-mole approach with taking care of these things. And now it's turned into something where in Europe they're wanting to get rid of it altogether, which means that is translated to here in the United States. I am having to go through almost 6,000 line items to find out where these things are hidden.
Jesus.
Needless to say, I am not wanting to be up half the night here in Missouri just to try fighting my way.
I'm in Fort Lost in the Woods. I don't want to be up all night.
Just to try fighting my way through the worst spreadsheets and databases I have ever seen.
Hey, I salute you, my brother.
So
much love, and I hope that we can talk soon.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I did send you the link. I did send you the link to Rhino's Gilded, right?
I didn't see it.
I thought I sent you an email a few weeks back.
I'm sorry. My stuff's been, it's crazy. I don't get.
Okay.
Yeah. No, her internet probably, or her service probably didn't do well.
Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and duck out. You gentlemen all have a good night. Sorry about hijacking your stream there for a second, Billy.
That's okay.
I hope you all got some usable information out of it.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, yeah, brother.
So I got Tyler in the chat. Take care, Mando. He's saying this is Chicken Little. Where'd it go? Hold on. I'm laughing at the entire stream. The world is ending. Chicken Little. Look, you could operate any way you want to operate, my friend Tyler. I'm not trying to get people scared. I'm just trying to get people to think that, again, think back March 2020, what was going on. And if you got fucking left out of not having stuff you may have needed and had to fucking wait in lines for 2 hours, or you couldn't fucking get food that you needed to fucking live, people might want to think about this. That's all. That's this whole fucking stream. Is this, hey, we could say we're going to stand up against the government, but, some things are bigger than you or I or any of us. And just to think that if something goes down, that you're not fucking caught out without, stuff you may need. That's all. That's all this is. And again, I hope that none of this shit happens. I hope no lockdowns. Fuck lockdowns. It doesn't work, right? Fuck masks. They don't work. Fuck all that shit. We know it doesn't work. But the fucking politicians are going to do whatever the fuck they want, with or without your input, right? They don't give a fuck.
Or your consent.
They give a fuck about their own agendas, not you or what you want, right? So look out for you. That's all I'm telling you, bro. Look out for you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I think we'll take it to final thoughts.
Oh shit.
So let's go around the room. We'll do it Red Rhino style. Nate, what you got? What you want to finish off with?
Well, never hurts to always be prepared. Always think ahead. Change your mindset. Um, and remember, um, yes, dreams are nightmares. Nightmares are dreams. Always got to look at the perspective on that. Do what you can to prepare yourself the best you can for what may happen, but don't let worrying about what may happen interfere with you living your life and being happy. So do that, but you always got to be prepared for a rainy day. You buy an umbrella because you think you may need it one day. That's all I'm saying. Think about that.
Yep.
What you got, Outlaw?
Pretty much everything that I wanted to say has been said. I mean, like Crusader Nate said, plan when the times are good. Never take the peaceful times for granted. I mean, I'm sure, and I'll just speak for me here. I'm sure, we all took those few years in between the pandemics for granted, just, relaxing, letting our guard down.
Trying to feel like normal, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just never hurts to be overly prepared. So,
Yeah, because even if you feel you good,
this doesn't hurt anything. In fact, this helps because there's a lot of people here who wanted to hear this. So, yeah, never take over preparation for granted. There you go.
Cool. What you got, Tommy?
Well, I would say on the same note, don't over prepare though. Don't strap yourself because you want to have all of this excess stuff.
Yeah.
Be reasonable, be smart about it. Just like you guys were talking about hitting the thrift stores, hitting the sales, double coupon day, all of that shit. Yeah, do it. But don't overreach either, Make sure you can consume it within its shelf life. A lot of canned goods will last 5 years easily. Especially if you do it right. But don't overextend yourself is what I'm getting at.
Yep.
yeah.
What you got, Sean?
I would actually say learn to cook. I know I say it a lot of times, but just having some of those basic cooking skills, and you get better, you get more advanced skills. You know how to make something that's nutritious, and you can create your own portions, and you can learn how to make it last. So you can create your own, create your own stockpile, let's just say with your leftovers, instead of having to go buy things dedicated just for stock up. But you got to have the right materials for it too. Like Nate said, have a vacuum sealer. If you get a dehydrator, or learn how to make jerky or dehydrate your food items in an oven, you can create snack packs. Like you can make banana chips, and they'll probably last for good several months.
When we know Jimmy loves the banana chips.
Yeah.
If you vacuum seal it, you increase the lifespan of the shelf life. So just having those skills like that, I think would be great to learn, because you know what to substitute in a pinch, in which if you're in a lockdown situation, that's a pinch.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And with that, I'll put you guys backstage. We'll hang out if you want a little bit. And I'll end the show just so hang out. There we go. Thanks, Nate, for your help with this stream. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right. See you in the backstage. All right, guys. I hope this has been helpful. I know we kind of hit all kinds of subjects. And we talked about all kinds of foods and stuff you can get and where to go. I mean, you guys almost certainly know all this stuff, right? I think was it Timothy Sokol? One of you guys said, oh, this is all, we're beating a dead horse. We know all this, and it's great that you guys know all of it. I just want you to remind you of it, because I mean, I know I haven't been thinking about this shit for the last couple months. I've been thinking about summer and cruising on the bike and going to car shows and all that kind of good stuff, right? Trying to enjoy life like all of you hopefully are doing. But as I said before, there's other people in this world who just want to fuck things up for you to push along their bullshit and probably most likely enriching themselves. So remember, government's not here to help you. They never were and they never will be. You got to help yourself, take care of yourself, be prepared for what may come next. And with that, I'm going to take it out with the, I haven't done this one in a while. I'm going to do the bomb. We're going to go bombing. So I'll see you in about 2 weeks, guys. And I hope you have a good night and a good rest of your week. And we'll catch you next time.
Here we